found my own obituary in Marcus's briefcase, printed, polished, dated for next Tuesday. My hands shook as I read my own death notice. Someone planned to make me disappear. I just didn't know my own sister had already been paid to help him do it. I'm Emma Caldwell, 34, a physical therapist from Portland. I thought I knew my husband and trusted my sister Rachel with my life. I was wrong about both. The briefcase, I wasn't looking for trouble that Thursday afternoon. I was looking for stamps. Marcus had asked me to mail some bills before the weekend, and I knew he kept a roll of stamps somewhere in his home office. I'd checked the desk drawers twice already. Nothing but old receipts and business cards. Then I remembered his leather briefcase sitting beside the filing cabinet. He won't mind, I whispered to myself. Unclipping the brass latches, the case fell open, and that's when I saw it. A single sheet of paper resting on top of a manila folder. My name was printed across the top in bold black letters. Emma Rose Caldwell. Below it, 2 dates. My birth date, correct. And my death date, next Tuesday. My heart stopped. I lifted the paper with trembling fingers. It was an obituary. My obituary. Complete with a photo I recognized from our vacation in Mexico last year. The text was polished and professional. Emma Caldwell, beloved wife and daughter, passed away unexpectedly on Tuesday, April the 10th. She will be remembered for her kindness, her dedication to her patients, and her warm smile. The paper slipped from my hands and fluttered to the hardwood floor. I stood frozen in the middle of Marcus's office, my breath coming in short, shallow gasps. This wasn't a joke. The formatting was too clean, too official. Someone had taken the time to write this, to plan this. My legs felt like water. I grabbed the edge of the desk to steady myself. Who wanted me dead, and why next Tuesday? What was happening in 6 days that I didn't know about? I bent down and picked up the obituary with shaking hands. I read it again, searching for clues. The funeral home listed at the bottom was real. I'd driven past it 100 times. The service date was set for that Friday. Someone had planned my death. Someone had written my ending. And the briefcase belonged to my husband. I carefully placed the paper back exactly where I'd found it. My mind was racing, my pulse hammering in my ears. I closed the briefcase, latched it shut, and backed out of the office. I needed to think. I needed to figure out what this meant. But first, I needed to know if Marcus was planning to kill me. The sister's voice. I grabbed my phone with trembling hands and scrolled to Rachel's number. My older sister, the person I'd always run to when life got hard. She answered on the second ring. Emma, hey, what's up? Rachel, my voice cracked. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. There was a pause. What happened? Are you okay? I paced across the living room, my heart still pounding. I found something. In Marcus's briefcase. Rachel, I found my own obituary. Silence. Rachel, did you hear me? I heard you. Her voice sounded different now, flat, controlled. What do you mean, your obituary? Exactly what I said. It's printed out, dated for next Tuesday. Someone wrote about my death like it already happened. I pressed my hand against my forehead, trying to stay calm. I don't know what to do. I don't know if Marcus... Where is Marcus right now? Rachel interrupted. The question caught me off guard. What? Where is he? Is he home? No, he's at work. He won't be back until 6. Why? Another pause. This one felt heavier. And what time is it now? I glanced at the clock on the wall. Almost 3. Rachel, why are you asking me this? I just want to make sure you're safe, she said. But something in her tone made my stomach twist. She sounded too calm, too measured, like she was checking off boxes on a list. Rachel, I'm scared. I think someone's planning to hurt me. I'm sure there's an explanation, she said smoothly. Maybe it's for a work project or something. You know Marcus deals with legal documents all the time. This wasn't a legal document. This was my obituary. Okay, just stay calm. Don't do anything rash. Have you told anyone else? No, you're the first person I called. Good, that's good. Listen, I think you should just act normal when Marcus gets home. Don't mention the obituary, not yet. We need to figure out what's going on first. I stopped pacing. Something felt wrong. Rachel always told me to trust my instincts, to speak up, to confront problems head on. Now she was telling me to stay quiet. Rachel, that doesn't sound like you. I'm just trying to protect you, Em. Please, trust me on this. but I didn't trust her. Not anymore. Not with that strange, hollow tone in her voice. "I have to go," I lied. "Emma, wait." I hung up and stared at my phone. My sister's reaction wasn't right. She should have been panicking, offering to come over, telling me to call the police. Instead, she'd asked where Marcus was and when he'd be home, like she needed to know his schedule. I sat down on the couch, my phone still clutched in my hand, and a terrible thought crept into my mind. What if Rachel already knew about the obituary? Following the money that night, I waited until Marcus fell asleep before I crept downstairs. I couldn't stop thinking about Rachel's strange reaction, the way she'd asked about Marcus's schedule, the way she'd told me to stay quiet. I opened my laptop on the kitchen table and logged into our bank accounts. Marcus and I had always kept our finances joint. No secrets, no separate accounts. At least, that's what I'd thought. I started with our main checking account. Everything looked normal at first. Mortgage payments, utility bills, grocery store charges. Then I clicked on the transaction history and scrolled back 3 months. That's when I saw them. Transfers, large transfers, all going to the same external account. My pulse quickened as I clicked on the first one. $5,000, sent 2 months ago. The memo line was blank, but the receiving account number was listed. I copied the number and pasted it into the search bar. The bank system pulled up the account holder's name. Rachel Ann Caldwell, my sister. I stared at the screen, my breath caught in my throat. I clicked on the next transfer, another $5,000 sent 3 weeks later. Same account, same recipient. I kept scrolling, 10 transfers in total spread out over 3 months. $50,000. Marcus had been sending my sister $50,000, and I'd never known. I opened Marcus's work calendar on his laptop. He always left it unlocked at home. I pulled up the past 3 months and started matching dates. Every transfer happened exactly 2 weeks after one of his business trips. My hands were shaking as I wrote everything down in a notebook. The dates, the amounts, the pattern. Marcus would go on a trip, Chicago, Boston, Denver, and then 2 weeks later, money would appear in Rachel's account. What was he paying her for? I thought back to the last few months. Rachel had been distant. She used to call me every week, just to check in, to gossip, to complain about her job at the marketing firm. But lately, she barely answered my texts. The last time I'd seen her in person was over a month ago. She'd seemed nervous, distracted. She'd left early, claiming she had a headache. I pulled up her social media. Her last post was from 2 weeks ago, a photo of a coffee cup with the caption, "Sometimes you have to make hard choices." Hard choices. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark kitchen, my mind racing. Marcus was paying Rachel. Rachel was acting strange, and someone had written my obituary. The pieces were starting to fit together, and the picture they formed made me sick. My husband and my sister were planning something, and I was the target, the insurance policy. The next morning, Marcus left for work early. He kissed my forehead and told me he loved me, just like always. I smiled and said it back, even though my stomach was churning. As soon as his car pulled out of the driveway, I went straight to his office. I had to know more. I had to find out what he was planning. I started with the desk drawers. I pulled them open, one by one, searching through files and folders. Tax documents, old work contracts, nothing unusual. Then I opened the bottom drawer. That's where I found it. A life insurance policy tucked inside a plain manila folder. I pulled it out and opened it on the desk. Insured, Emma Rose Caldwell, benefit, amount, $2,000. Beneficiary, Marcus James Caldwell, $2 million. My hands trembled as I flipped through the pages. The policy had been taken out 8 months ago. I didn't remember signing anything. I didn't remember any conversations about life insurance, but there on the signature page was my name in blue ink. I stared at the signature. It looked like mine. The loops and slants were almost perfect, but I knew I hadn't signed this. I would have remembered. Marcus had forged my signature. I pulled out my phone and started taking pictures. Every page, every clause, every detail. I photographed the policy number, the date it was issued, the beneficiary information. $2 million if I died. That's what I was worth to him. That's what he'd get if I disappeared next Tuesday. I put the folder back exactly where I'd found it and closed the drawer. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Marcus wasn't just planning to kill me. He was planning to profit from it. And Rachel was helping him. I sat down in his office chair and tried to think. I needed proof. I needed more than just photos of a forged policy. I needed evidence that would hold up when I went to the police. I opened his laptop again and searched his email. I typed insurance into the search bar, and dozens of messages appeared. Most of them were from the insurance company, confirming the policy, sending statements. Then I found one that made my blood run cold. An email from 8 months ago, sent to an address I didn't recognize. The subject line read, "Policy confirmed." I opened it. "Everything's set. Policy is active. 2 million payout on accidental death. No questions asked as long as it looks natural. You'll get your cut once it's done." Marcus had sent that email. I took a screenshot and sent it to my personal email. Then I kept searching. There were more. Emails about the plan. Emails about the timeline. Emails that referenced Rachel. I saved everything. I photographed everything. And then I heard the front door open. Marcus was home early. I quickly closed the laptop and shoved my phone into my pocket. I took a deep breath and walked out of the office, forcing my face into a neutral expression. "Hey," I called down the hallway. "I thought you had meetings all morning." Marcus smiled at me from the entryway. "They got canceled. Thought I'd come home and surprise you." His smile looked wrong. Too wide, too perfect. "That's sweet," I said, my voice steady even though my heart was racing. He walked toward me and wrapped his arms around my waist. "I love you, Em." I hugged him back, my cheek pressed against his chest, and I thought, "You're planning to kill me." The cabin reservation. The next morning, Marcus left his laptop open on the kitchen counter while he took a shower. I shouldn't have looked, but I couldn't stop myself. I opened his email and started scrolling. Bills, work messages, spam, nothing important. Then I saw it, a reservation confirmation from a website called Whispering Pines Cabin Rentals. I clicked on it. "Thank you for your reservation. Your romantic anniversary getaway is confirmed for April 14th, 16th. Cabin number 7 is located on the north shore of Mirror Lake. No cell service, no neighbors, just you, nature, and the stars." April 14th. That was this Monday. 2 days from now, and April 15th, the date in the middle of our stay, was the date on my obituary. My hands went numb. Marcus had booked a cabin in the middle of nowhere. No cell service, no neighbors, and he'd planned it for the exact days surrounding my supposed death. I clicked on the attached map. The cabin was 3 hours north, deep in the woods, surrounded by water on 3 sides. The nearest town was 20 miles away. If something happened to me there, no one would know. No one would hear me scream. I kept reading. "Please note, due to the remote location, emergency services may take 60-90 minutes to arrive. We recommend bringing all necessary supplies and medications." 60 to 90 minutes. That's how long it would take for help to come. That's how long Marcus would have. I heard the shower shut off upstairs. I quickly forwarded the email to myself and closed the laptop. My mind was racing. Marcus had planned everything, the cabin, the timing, the isolation. He was going to kill me on Tuesday, and he was going to make it look like an accident. I thought about the insurance policy. $2 million for an accidental death. That's why it had to happen at the cabin. Drowning, a fall, something that wouldn't raise suspicion. I heard Marcus's footsteps on the stairs. I grabbed a coffee mug and pretended to be scrolling through my phone. He walked into the kitchen, his hair still damp. "Morning, babe." "Morning," I said, keeping my voice light. He poured himself a cup of coffee and leaned against the counter. "So, I was thinking, how about we take a little trip this weekend? Just the 2 of us." My stomach dropped. "A trip?" "Yeah, I found this amazing cabin up north. Super romantic, peaceful. I thought we could use some time away." He smiled at me. "What do you think?" I forced myself to smile back. "That sounds nice." "Great, I already booked it. We leave Monday morning." "Monday?" I repeated. "Yeah, I figured we could both use a break. You've been working so hard lately." He reached over and squeezed my hand. "It'll be perfect. Just you and me. No distractions. No distractions. No witnesses. No way to call for help." "I can't wait," I lied. Marcus kissed my forehead and walked back upstairs. I stood alone in the kitchen, my heart pounding. He thought he had everything planned. He thought I was walking into his trap blind, but I wasn't blind anymore. I opened my laptop and replied to the cabin confirmation email. "Thank you. My husband and I are so excited for our stay. This will be an anniversary we'll never forget." I hit send. If Marcus wanted to take me to that cabin, fine, I'd go. But I wasn't going to be the one who didn't come back. Rachel's confession. I showed up at Rachel's apartment that evening with 2 bottles of wine, and my brightest smile. She opened the door looking surprised. "Emma, what are you doing here?" "I missed you," I said, holding up the wine. "I feel like we haven't hung out in forever. Can I come in?" She hesitated, then stepped aside. "Yeah, of course. Come in." Her apartment was messier than usual, dishes piled in the sink, mail scattered across the coffee table. She'd always been the organized one, the responsible older sister. Seeing her place like this felt wrong. "Sorry about the mess," she said, clearing space on the couch. "Work's been crazy." "No worries." I sat down and opened the first bottle of wine. I brought glasses. We spent the first hour talking about nothing: work, the weather, our parents' upcoming anniversary. Rachel seemed tense, like she was waiting for me to say something. After 2 glasses of wine, her shoulders finally relaxed. "I'm glad you came over," she said quietly. "I've been meaning to call you." "Yeah? About what?" She stared at her wine glass. "Emma, I need to tell you something." My pulse quickened. "Okay." I. She stopped, took a breath. "I've been in trouble. Financial trouble." "What kind of trouble?" "Gambling," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I got into online poker last year. I thought I could win big, pay off my credit cards, but I just kept losing. I owe some bad people a lot of money." I kept my face neutral, even though my heart was racing. "How much?" $60,000. I let out a low whistle. "Rachel?" I know, I was stupid." She wiped her eyes. "And then Marcus found out." There it was. "Marcus knows?" I asked carefully. She nodded. "He confronted me about it a few months ago. He said he'd seen some of my social media posts, figured out I was in trouble. He offered to help." "Help how?" Rachel's hands were shaking now. "He said he'd pay off my debts. All of them. But I had to do something for him first." I gripped my wine glass tighter. "What did he ask you to do?" She started crying, full, heaving sobs. "Emma, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to. He said if I didn't help him, he'd tell everyone about my gambling. He'd ruin me." "Rachel," I kept my voice steady. "What did he ask you to do?" She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. "He asked me to make sure you took your sleeping pills." The room went silent. "What?" "Monday night, when you go to the cabin, he wants me to text you, to check that you've taken your sleeping pills before bed." She was sobbing now. "He said it was just to help you relax, but Emma, I don't think that's what it's really for." I stared at my sister. My own sister, who'd been paid $50,000 to help my husband kill me. "He's going to hurt me," I said quietly. "I don't know, maybe, I don't know." Rachel grabbed my hand. "But I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't go through with it. That's why I've been avoiding you. I feel so guilty." I hugged her. I wrapped my arms around my sister and held her while she cried. And while she sobbed into my shoulder, rage burned white hot in my chest. Rachel had betrayed me. She'd chosen money over my life, but she'd also just confirmed everything I needed to know. "It's okay," I whispered. "We'll figure this out together." She pulled back, hope flickering in her eyes. "Really?" "Really," I lied. "But you have to promise me something. Anything. You have to keep texting Marcus, act normal." "Don't let him know you told me." She nodded frantically. Okay, I can do that." I smiled at her, a real smile. Because now I had everything I needed, building my own death. The next morning, I bought a burner phone from a gas station 3 towns over. I paid cash. I wore a baseball cap pulled low. I didn't use my real name. Then I started making calls. The first call was to David Chen, Marcus's business partner. I'd met David a few times at company parties. He'd always seemed uncomfortable around Marcus, like he was carrying a secret he didn't want to share. "Hello?" David answered, sounding confused by the unknown number. "David, this is Emma Caldwell, Marcus's wife." A pause. "Emma, is everything okay? I need to talk to you, in person. It's about Marcus." I don't think that's a good idea." "Please, it's important. Life or death, important." Another long pause. "Okay, meet me at the coffee shop on 5th Street, 1 hour." I drove to the coffee shop and waited in a back corner booth. David arrived 10 minutes late, looking nervous. He sat down across from me. What's this about? Marcus is planning to kill me, I said simply. David's face went pale. What? I showed him the photos on my phone, the obituary, the insurance policy, the transfers to Rachel's account. I need to know if there's anything else, I said. Anything that would explain why he needs money so badly. David rubbed his face. You can't tell anyone I told you this. I won't. Marcus has been stealing from the company. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. Over the past year, he's embezzled almost $200,000. I found out 3 months ago. I confronted him, and he said he'd pay it back. But he hasn't. He's running out of time. The board is starting to ask questions. $200,000 in debt. $2 million in life insurance. The math was simple. Can you prove it? I asked. I have documents, bank statements, transfers. I need copies. All of them. David hesitated. If I give you these, Marcus will know it was me. Marcus is going to prison, I said. He's not going to hurt anyone. David reached into his bag and pulled out a flash drive. Everything's on here, financial records, emails, all of it. I took the flash drive and slipped it into my pocket. Thank you. Emma, David said as I stood to leave. Be careful. If Marcus knows you're onto him, he won't, I promised. I left the coffee shop and drove to an internet cafe. I uploaded all of David's files to a cloud server. Then I sent copies to 3 different email addresses, my lawyer, my best friend, and a journalist I'd found online who specialized in corporate fraud. Next, I went to the pharmacy. I need to refill my prescription, I told the pharmacist, sliding my bottle of sleeping pills across the counter. Sure thing, give me 5 minutes. While I waited, I thought about Marcus crushing something white into my wine glass. I thought about Rachel's text asking if I'd taken anything. The pharmacist returned with a new bottle. Here you go, take one before bed. No more than that. Thank you, I said. I drove home and hid everything. The burner phone, the flash drive, the photos. Then I packed a small bag for the cabin trip. Clothes, toiletries. And at the very bottom, wrapped in a scarf, the bottle of sleeping pills. Marcus thought he was in control, but he'd just handed me the weapon I needed to destroy him. The cabin trap. Monday morning arrived too quickly. Marcus loaded our bags into the car, whistling cheerfully. He seemed relaxed, happy, like he was actually looking forward to a romantic weekend. I climbed into the passenger seat and buckled my seatbelt. Ready? Marcus asked, starting the engine. Ready, I said. We drove north in silence for the first hour. I watched the trees grow thicker, the houses spread farther apart. My phone signal dropped to 1 bar, then none. We were alone now. Marcus reached over and squeezed my hand. This is going to be great. Just us. No work, no stress. Yeah, I said. It'll be perfect. We arrived at the cabin just after noon. It was exactly as the photos had shown. Small, wooden, perched on the edge of a dark lake. The nearest cabin was a half-mile away, barely visible through the trees. Marcus carried our bags inside while I stood on the porch, looking out at the water. This was where he planned to kill me. Em, you coming? Marcus called from inside. I turned and walked into the cabin. It was cozy. A stone fireplace, a small kitchen, 1 bedroom with a view of the lake. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out. A text from Rachel. Hey sis, hope you're having a great time. Make sure you take your sleeping pills tonight. You've been so stressed lately. Love you. I stared at the message. My sister, checking to make sure I'd be unconscious when Marcus made his move. I texted back, Thanks, Rach. I'm already feeling so relaxed. We'll definitely take them. Love you too. Marcus walked up behind me. Who's that? Rachel, just checking in. He smiled. That's sweet. The afternoon passed slowly. We hiked around the lake, made sandwiches for lunch, played cards by the fireplace. Marcus was the perfect husband, attentive, loving, kind, and all I could think about was the obituary in his briefcase. That evening, Marcus started cooking dinner. Pasta with marinara sauce, garlic bread, a bottle of red wine. I watched him from the couch, my heart pounding. He poured 2 glasses of wine and brought them over. To us, he said, raising his glass. To us, I repeated. He turned back to the stove, stirring the pasta. I watched his hand move to his pocket, watched him pull out a small plastic bag, watched him glance over his shoulder to make sure I wasn't looking. Then he crushed something white into my wine glass. I turned away, pretending I hadn't seen. My pulse was racing. This was it. This was the moment. Marcus brought the wine glass over and handed it to me. "Here you go, babe." "Thanks," I said, taking it from him. He went back to the kitchen. I waited until his back was turned. Then I switched the glasses. I placed my poisoned glass on his side of the table and took his clean glass for myself. Marcus finished cooking and brought 2 plates to the table. He sat down across from me, picked up his wine glass, the one I'd switched, and took a long drink. "This is nice," he said. "Just the 2 of us." I raised my glass. Just the 2 of us. We ate dinner. I forced myself to chew, to swallow, to act normal. Marcus finished his wine and poured himself another glass. He drank that one too. 20 minutes later, he started to slur his words. "I feel weird," he mumbled, gripping the edge of the table. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice full of fake concern. I don't know. I feel dizzy." He stood up, stumbling toward the door. "I need air. He pushed through the screen door and stumbled toward the dock. I grabbed my phone, fully charged, camera ready, and followed him. The drowning that wasn't Marcus was on his knees at the edge of the dock, his hands gripping the wooden planks. I stood behind him, my phone recording everything. "Marcus," I said calmly, "what did you put in my wine?" He turned to look at me, his eyes unfocused. "What?" "The sleeping pills. You crushed them into my glass. What were you planning to do?" He tried to stand, but his legs gave out. "Emma, I don't feel good." "Answer the question." He slumped against the dock railing. I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." I crouched down next to him, my phone still recording. "You were going to drug me, then what? Push me into the lake? Make it look like I drowned?" His eyes widened. "How did you—" "I know about the insurance policy. I know about the money you stole from the company. I know about Rachel." Marcus's face crumpled. "Emma, please, let me explain." "Go ahead, explain." "I owed people money. Bad people. I didn't have a choice. I needed the insurance payout. I needed to—" He trailed off, his words slurring together. "You needed to kill me," I finished. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." "No, you're not." My phone buzzed, a call from Rachel. I answered it on speaker. "Emma, did you take your pills? Are you asleep?" Rachel's voice was frantic. Marcus's eyes went wide. "Not quite," I said. "But Marcus took them. Want to say hi?" Silence. "Rachel," Marcus slurred. What's going on?" "Oh my God," Rachel breathed. "Emma, what did you do?" "I switched the glasses," I said simply. "Marcus drank the pills he meant for me, and you just confirmed on a recorded line that you were in on it." No, Rachel started, but I hung up. Marcus tried to crawl toward me. "Please, Emma, help me." "Help you?" I crouched down and looked him in the eyes. "Like you were going to help me?" "I wasn't going to hurt you. I just needed the money." "You wrote my obituary, Marcus. You forged my signature. You paid my sister to help you drug me." I stood up. "You planned my death." "I'm sorry," he sobbed. "Please, call someone. I can't breathe right." I pulled out my phone, not the burner, my real phone, and I dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency?" "My husband has overdosed on sleeping pills," I said calmly. "We're at cabin number 7 at Whispering Pines on Mirror Lake. He's conscious but incoherent. I think he tried to take his own life." "Ma'am, is he breathing?" "Yes, but he's very disoriented." "Help is on the way. Stay with him. Don't let him fall asleep." "I won't," I promised. I hung up and looked down at Marcus, still sprawled on the dock. "They'll be here in 60 to 90 minutes, I told him. "That's what the website said. Emergency services take a while to reach this place." Marcus's eyes filled with tears. "You're just going to let me die?" "No," I said. "I'm going to let you live. I want you to stand trial. I want everyone to know what you tried to do at the—" "Emma, please, save your breath. You're going to need it." I sat down on the dock and waited. The recording on my phone had everything. His confession, Rachel's call, all of it. 60 minutes later, I heard sirens in the distance. The new obituary. The paramedics arrived and took Marcus to the hospital. He survived. The police questioned me for hours. I showed them everything: the obituary, the insurance policy, the bank transfers, the recording from the dock. They arrested Marcus that night. Rachel was arrested at the airport 2 days later, trying to board a flight to Mexico with $25,000 in cash. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Marcus's lawyer tried to argue that I'd poisoned him, that I was the one who'd planned everything. But the evidence was overwhelming. David Chen testified about the embezzlement. The insurance company confirmed the forged signature. Rachel broke down on the stand and admitted everything. Marcus was sentenced to 20 years for attempted murder, fraud, and embezzlement. Rachel got 10 years for conspiracy. I sat in the courtroom and watched them both get led away in handcuffs. My husband, my sister, the two people I'd trusted most in the world, and I felt nothing. After the trial, I went home to the house Marcus and I had shared. I packed up his things and donated them all. I sold the house and moved to a new city. I started over. One afternoon, I sat down at my computer and opened a blank document. I wrote a new obituary. Emma Rose Caldwell, 34, physical therapist and survivor, died on April 15th at Whispering Pines. The woman who trusted too easily, who believed in family above all else, who never saw betrayal coming. That Emma died on that dock by the lake. The woman who walked away was someone new, someone harder, someone who would never again mistake kindness for weakness or blood for loyalty. She is survived by no one, and she's fine with that. I saved the document and closed my laptop. The old Emma was gone. The one who'd believed that love and family were sacred. The one who'd thought marriage meant forever and sisters were supposed to protect each other. That Emma had died the moment she found her obituary in Marcus's briefcase. The woman sitting here now knew better. She knew that trust had to be earned, that family could be your greatest enemy, that sometimes the people who smile at you are the ones holding the knife. I got a new job in a new city. I made new friends, carefully, slowly, with walls built high. I learned to sleep with one eye open, and I never looked back, because the greatest revenge wasn't destroying Marcus and Rachel. It was surviving. It was walking out of those woods alive and stronger than before. They'd tried to erase me, to turn me into a sad story in the local newspaper. But I'd erased them instead, and I was still here,